Last time I had financial freedom was probably 2014 when I moved out here. That was the end of it. Seriously, like 2014. Okay, I just thought of something really ironic. Is it ironic that a game called Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is literally the game where I've made the least ever playing it? It's true. It's absolutely 100% true. At this point, I'm playing it because I'm a fan of it and, and to hang out with you guys. But I've actually had the absolute worst performing streams ever playing this game in my entire history as a content creator on the internet. It's pretty funny. Infinite Wealth.
That's not funny, asshole.
But man, after yesterday's stream, the entire stream was like a comedy of errors. And as much as I'd like to admit that sometimes I'm the one making the mistakes, yesterday was just atrocious. Okay? Simply using game mechanics that have worked the entirety of the game led to failure and disaster. Bugs, glitches, horrible design choices, frozen characters, screens teleporting back and forth between two rooms when I wasn't even in a room involved in something. It was just nonsense, okay? And it all culminated at the very end with me ultimately looking to lose a legendary weapon that is essential for the build of my character Karlach. And if it doesn't exist anymore, basically she's going to be nearly worthless, all right? Because there's really no way to replace that weapon. Did I do something wrong to deserve that? No. It's just a wonky game engine. I did nothing wrong. I did absolutely nothing wrong. I did everything right. And that's sad. Because a game with this many moving parts, there's so much to keep track of. I can understand when every once in a while something goes wrong. In fact, I can understand if like every third of the time something random happens and you're not expecting it. When you're in the end game and you have a situation where you've built a character over the course of 130 hours, and everything you've done has worked towards this character's build, and basically this character is so good, they've single-handedly been the reason you have won endgame challenging boss fights like the Raphael fight. And then to say, oh, we just decided in this particular fight, there's going to be a random variable that's going to cause chaos, and now an item will literally be yeeted from existence, finger snapped out of the game engine, is completely unacceptable.
What a piece of shit game this is, dude. What a piece of fucking shit. Oh.
Last week I ranted about a character in my party leaving and taking all his equipment with him. Now you can argue that's the result of my choices in the game. Fair enough. I just don't like the way that he walks out of the game with no way to get those items back and no opportunity to even know that he's about to leave. In this case, I didn't do anything wrong. It's just the game engine that's causing me strife, and it looks like at the very end of the game is going to screw me over. And now we've got to pull a last-minute audible to figure out how to remedy the situation. In fact, it's so funny because literally right now, it's just a mess. And the fact is, for a game that is supposed to be Game of the Year, for a game that's supposed to be adhering to a very strict rule set of D&D, it shouldn't be a variable of, we don't know what happened. It should be very distinct and easy to figure out what happened, and it's not. We get to the Gortash boss fight, okay? The Gortash boss fight is, in my opinion, and now I'm 133 plus hours into this game, the most unnecessarily complex fight in the whole game. And I've had fights that were puzzles, and I've had fights that there was a million enemies. This fight has far too many factors to the point where it's impossible for you to actually focus on what you're doing because there's a million things going on. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Stop whining like a bitch. Jesus. There's flame traps and turrets on the walls that are constantly shooting grenades and fire. There's a force field on Gortash that protects him from damage, that reflects projectiles, and there's two pieces of machinery on the wall that apparently make the field work, but it's not clear how or what you need to do to attack those things. And the room is full of other enemies as well. Gortash, of course, isn't a normal enemy. He's a boss, so now he's got all these special abilities and things you've never even seen before, okay? Immediately you start to read the descriptions of everything, and you're like, okay, so this is resistant to this. This has projectiles that will bounce off of this. This is going to absorb this damage. It's going to reflect this damage. It's highly resistant to this damage, but it's weak to this damage. You got to sit in this fight for 10 minutes before you can even make a move, all right? That's not fun. I'm sorry, it's not. It's frustrating, especially when you're at the end of a stream and you just want to finish this. Especially when you're at the end of a stream and you just want to finish this. And it's like, why the fuck do I have to sit here and study this room for 10 minutes to figure out what the fuck's going on? It's way too complicated. You know, I get it. Okay, it's one of the big 3 bosses before the end of the game. It's still annoying. I'm sorry, I can't enjoy that because it's too complicated. I don't want to sit there studying like I'm a fucking scholar of D&D to do a simple fight. All right? So it was very annoying to me. And basically, as I start, okay, it just becomes a shit show. That's like the best way I can describe it. So both Darkscale Phil and Karlach are based solely on projectile gameplay. Well, guess what? Everyone in this room is immune to projectiles. It bounces them back. So immediately I use Karlach and I throw the spear, this is the big thing that we're going to be freaking out about now. So what is it called? Nirasha? I can't remember the name of the spear. It's incredibly rare. You can only get it in one tiny situation. Nirulna. That's the name of the spear. Nirulna. Why not Pig Latin? Snort A Bernille. Okay? It's a legendary spear. So eventually what ends up happening is the spear lands on the ground. For some reason, Karlach drops the spear. When you do Frenzied Throw, which is her Karlach's special ability, there's a chance that it will knock the enemy down and make them go prone. I threw the spear at an enemy. It bounced off their force field, came back at Karlach, hit her with the Frenzied Throw, and it knocked her down. So because she fell, she couldn't catch the spear. But it actually is its own contradictory logic, and here's why. Per the game's logic, if the spear connects, she auto-catches it. That's how it works. If the spear connects with any enemy or any person, she catches the spear back. That's how the return spear gameplay mechanic works in Baldur's Gate 3. So just by logic alone, even if she hit herself with a move, she should auto-catch the spear because it connected. But the game says, oh, well, in this case, she hit herself with her own move that caused her to go prone. So even though in this case she should catch the spear, cancel out that line of logic and just make her fall and the spear hits the ground. That makes absolutely no sense. From any logic perspective, it doesn't. They just arbitrarily decided, in this case, erase this line. Even though this is how it works the whole game, in this case, just erase this line of code in this certain random, very rare situation, and there's no way you would ever know that. That's their own judgment call to say, erase this outcome, even though it happens every other time, because we feel like it.
Fuck you.
It's crap. It's bad. It's not logical at all. By logic standards, spear connects, Karlach catches it. Don't care if she went prone or not. She should still have the spear in her hand. Nope, the game just fucks up. Like, okay, whatever you say. All right, that's bullshit. So now the spear is on the floor. Karlach has no weapon. Luckily for me, I have other things I can throw, but I want that goddamn spear back, right? First of all, that's her whole build. And if I don't get that spear back, she's basically going to be kind of worthless for the rest of the playthrough.
Come on. You gotta be a mature fucking adult and stop being a whiny little baby about this shit. You know, it's just like a whiny baby. Doesn't get their way. They didn't get their ice cream. You know, they didn't get their flavor of ice cream that they wanted. So instead of actually dealing with the fact that they still at least have ice cream, they're going to stand there and whine and complain while the ice cream melts down the side of the fucking cone. Grow up.
She throws the spear. The spear hits Gortash. The spear hits her. The spear hits everyone in an area of effect and makes everyone go prone. And the spear disappears from the game world. And I said, where is it? Not on the floor. It's not in her inventory. It didn't blow across the room. It's literally erased. Okay? Now, there's all these theories that people are trying to come up with and try to explain it away, but I don't think there's a theory that's going to be correct. I just think their coding is bad. I think that this entire idea of throwing objects was never refined enough. And because of that, it's always janky. People have outright said this. Just listen to this. If you're in stealth, so you haven't engaged in a combat yet, you're not in fighting, and you throw the spear, even if it connects, it doesn't go back to her. It lands on the floor. Why? The whole idea is that she throws this spear, and it's a returnable spear if it connects with the enemy. Well, everyone agrees that's a game bug, that it should return to her, but they've never fixed it. So everyone just works around it. No one uses throwable objects out of cover or out of stealth because they know that they're not going to return. It's fucked up. So if that's fucked up, okay, obviously there's going to be other stuff that's fucked up as well, right? So the whole mechanic shouldn't exist if it's not refined enough to not be a janky, wonky, not consistent thing. If it's a mess, don't put it in the fucking game. But they didn't care. They said, we're going to put it in. And now how many people are going to have issues with game mechanics like this? You know, this is something that absolutely should be fixed. And I doubt they ever will, because I bet you're not going to see many or any real improvements moving forward. They made their big announcement, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll do the right thing and continue to go back and fix things like this. But this is awful, all right? 130 hours play, a build specific to this weapon that works and has beaten big-ass endgame bosses. And now I'm going to be cheated out of that because the game doesn't work. This was not an error on my part. This is not, I didn't understand that Asterion was going to leave my party and take my items with him, and I'm crying over it, you know. This is a situation where the game's coding's fucked up. An item finger snapped off the planet, and I'm just supposed to swallow that? No, absolutely not. I have the right to voice my opinion and to tell you this game is a buggy, janky mess at the end. Oh. So, okay, some people, this is good news. I'm being told, no, Larian did not say they're going to wipe their hands of Baldur's Gate 3. They have committed to continuously improving the game for a little bit at least, for now, for the foreseeable future. So that's good. And, you know, I want to know that information. So that's good. Fix the fucking spear. In fact, how about this? Larian Studios, everyone who's working there at Larian Studios, there's a matter of utmost importance that you must resolve immediately. Okay, I want you to step away from your computers, put down your coffees, get out of your big boardroom meetings, your dev team meetings. I want you to all listen. Immediately, you must put down everything you're doing, and you must return to work, and you must code my spear back into my game specifically. It is of the utmost importance that you drop everything in your lives. If you're on the toilet taking a shit right now, pinch it off, get your pants up, don't even wipe, get right to your workstations right now, and get this fucking spear back into my inventory. This I demand.
Execute clown mode.